You've been through so many iterations of the Raptors, and we were lucky enough to, get a championship with an iteration that lasted one season, literally. Yeah. What has been your favorite iteration so far? Is it the DeMar DeRozan era, the Kawhi Leonard championship season? Tell me one or two of your
Vince
favorites.
Carter era was very good for me. I mean, I enjoyed that because Vince was Mr. Canada basketball. He was Mr. Basketball. He's the one who brought Raptors on the world map, who brought Canada on the world map. And
he was a showman.
He was a showman. Every night he had a different dunk. And I would go home and watch every time how the hell he did it. How did he do that dunk? And, and then he got traded. And then on that day, before that, I went to Teacher Pension Fund, who owned the Raptors. Mm-hmm. I told them not to trade him. I tried my little best with the little fan I was. I tried my best. But he was traded. I cried. And then slowly, I started to find out that it's a business.
Yeah.
When DeMar did, it was a shock to me also. Because he's an amazing kid, amazing brother of mine. His family is like my family. But then by that time, I knew that it is a business.
Right.
Now there's no sense. Just you got to move on. But for me, my friendship with Vince, he's my family. DeMar is my family. It hasn't changed.
Yeah, and you have an amazing relationship with all of these players. It sounds
Every
like
player.
Jonas Valanciunas said you were like a dad to him.
Yeah.
Right? You have a very nurturing relationship. DeMar DeRozan, I heard you got him a car when he was struggling as a
No, he was
player.
never struggling. He came new, and Brian Colangelo, the president at the time and general manager, called me. And he says, hey, young kid is in town. He's 19 years old. He's from USC. He's a Trojan, and his girlfriend is coming. So can you help them with a car till they get their own car? So DeMar, I went to see DeMar, and he says, sir, Mr. Bhatia, I need a car, and can you help me out with a vehicle? And I'm going to have my car come from LA. And some kind of a car. That was his first season. I said, sure. Next morning, I went to his home and I parked a Range Rover on his driveway. And he was like a young kid who has like when you give a gift to a kid on a Christmas, he was that kid.
Wow.
And 4 or 5 months later, his car came in and he says, I want to return the car. And so I went to pick up the car and he says, what do I owe you? I said, DeMar, you owe me a hug. And he hugged me. And since then, that hug is so popular. Every game, doesn't matter if he's with San Antonio or Chicago, he gives me a hug. Big hug. When he was in the Raptors also, that is our signature hug.
Yeah.
And sometimes the hug is so long that people start writing on the log, what's going on? But that's my boy. That's my little brother.
That's amazing.
So that's how the relationship with Jonas Valanciunas also the same thing. I was with Canada basketball in Philippines, and we won the championship. And for one game, for Lithuania, he played. He was the MVP. And guess what? He brought me his MVP trophy and said, "This is yours." I still have that with me here in my foundation. He left that with me. He says, "No, this is for you."
That's incredible.
When he became the player of the week, rookie of the that trophy is with me too. He said, this belongs to you. So this is the relationship I have. I love the ballers. And they're young people. I want to make sure. I have another kid now by the name of Grady Dick, he's like my son, 19 years old. He was in a dump a few weeks ago and I had a chat with him. I said, you got to call me at 11 o'clock if you want to shoot 300 or 400 3-pointers. I'll be there for you.
Wow.
Because I remember when DeMar had a bad game, he would come. DeMar was my neighbor in Mississauga. So whenever he had a bad game, he would come back to the arena, to the OVO practice facility and shoot for 2-3 hours. So I told him, and look, now he's coming along pretty good.
Yeah.
He's having almost 15 to 20 points every game now. So that's good. I'm proud of that.